Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis and breaking news. BlackRock and Fidelity now own a combined 524,390 BTC, worth $31.6 billion for their spot Bitcoin ETFs. And over 500,000 Bitcoin of the 21 million total belongs to these two ETFs alone. Let that sink in. And quoting Max Kaiser, without a Bitcoin plan, none of this other stuff from Trump matters. At this point, I'd say it doesn't matter who wins in November. It's grossly irresponsible not to have a Bitcoin plan. It leaves the United States of America extremely vulnerable. We'll also be discussing the latest with Ripple versus the SEC. Victory or just another chapter in the legal battle. We'll also be discussing Celsius as stablecoin issuer Tether to hand over 3.3 is that $1 billion? Wow, worth of Bitcoin in the new lawsuit. I'll be sharing the latest lawsuit. We'll also be discussing the world's largest Bitcoin miner, Marathon Digital, announcing a $250 million raise to buy more biddies. That's right, fam. We'll also be discussing California City launching a new Bitcoin office dedicated to transformative potential of BTC, as well as a brand new Forbes headline, which reads, maybe $1 million. Bitcoin price is poised for historic post-election rally. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. But anyways, fam, if you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes. Go ahead and subscribe. Then hit the bell icon. Turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day. And just like this, today is pod episode 1728. I'm your host, JV. It's August 12th, 2024. Lots of happening in the market. So let's kick it off with our market watch, as we do each and every day. You should be able to see Coin 360 pulled up here on your screen. We got Bitcoin sitting just above 59,100. We have Ether up 2%, trading above 2,600. Solana and Tron correcting and in the red, while XRP and Cardano are barely in the green. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the Bitcoin dominance is 56%, with the Ether dominance 15.3%. The total crypto market cap sits at $2.08 trillion. The Bitcoin market cap sits at $1.165 trillion, and we got roughly 86 billion worth of volume in the past 24 hours. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past 24 hours, we got Sats leading the pack, up 24%. We got Su up 14%, and Helium up 13%. Below that, Ordi, Celestia, Say, and Aptos. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for this particular bull? Let me know. And checking out the crypto bubbles to get a visual perspective, let's start on the daily. A beautiful sight. The majority of the market pumping and in the green. Again, Sats leading the pack. Let's go Sats. Now, I know nothing about this altcoin, but it is interesting that it's called Sats. So I'm just assuming, thinking out loud, hopefully it's on the Bitcoin blockchain. BRC20. Let me know, family. Again, I know nothing about it. My first time seeing it. HNT up 14%. Su up 14%. Just massive gainers across the board. Zooming out on the monthly. Unfortunately, I mean, this sheds a lot of perspective. Past 30 days, much of the alt market wrecked, like Rec City bleeding and in the red, just a handful in the green, including Zcash, HNT, and Sats. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index today, we're all the way back down in extreme fear, rated at 25. Yesterday, 39. Last week at 26. And last month at 25 in extreme fear. Now, the lower we go in extreme fear, the more likely of a big pump, like clockwork. So that's hence why we like this particular indicator. So we're going to get a new pump here soon. Let me know your thoughts. But anyways, let's kick it next with our Bitcoin TA, aka astrology for the broskies. The headline here reads, Bitcoin price dip may retest 55,000, but for the next leg up, Bitcoin price fell below a key growth trajectory line based on the previous Bitcoin halving cycles. So recovering above this trend line, which is around 63,000, could put the biddy back on track to new highs, according to crypto research platform Econometrics. Quoting them here, Bitcoin has dipped below its historical post-halving growth trajectory range. If it returns to this range before year-end, we're looking at a high likelihood of a six-figure value for one BTC, six-figure biddy. Send it. I mean, here's part of the report they shared, Bitcoin's growth trajectory after the fourth halving. What if Bitcoin's growth after the fourth halving follows the same pattern as the previous cycles? Well, assuming the same growth rate as the past 3 cycles, we would expect one Bitcoin to be worth anywhere between $140,000 and $4.5 million per coin, starting from 63 Gs. Are you guys ready for a $4.5 million biddy? Holla at your boy. I mean, and shout out Equinometrics. It was actually quite interesting. And started from the bottom. Now we here. Now, provided that Bitcoin would follow the same trajectory we have seen during the previous halving cycles, as I pointed out, Bitcoin can reach over 140,000 during the cycle top and as high as 4.5 million in 2025. Bitcoin price can still correct, though, below 55,000. Keep that in mind, based on upcoming release of the CPI index on August 14th, which I believe is on Wednesday in a couple of days. The higher than expected reading could lead to another correction, according to Crypto Bullet, who shares here, what a monster, bullish weekly candle, long wick, green body, strong recovery. While I think it's possible to test 53 to 55 one last time if the CPI comes in hot on Wednesday, I can't be bearish here. Word. However, the Bitcoin miner reserves fell to 1.8 million BTC, which is lower than the miner reserves at the beginning of March. When Bitcoin hit its all-time high, which we tapped mid-March, I believe we're sitting at 73.8, the current price discovery level as verified by CryptoQuant author right here in a post. And decreasing the miner reserves means less upcoming Bitcoin sell pressure, since the miners rely on selling Bitcoin for operational costs. Yet Bitcoin needs a confirmation above 60,600 for more upwards momentum. According to Rec Capital, as the analyst shares here, Bitcoin is doing all the right things to confirming 60,600 as support, so as to position price for a revisit to 65,000 plus over time. So there you have it. And in other breaking news, check this out, yo. BlackRock and Fidelity now own a combined 524,390 BTC, over 500,000 Bitcoin, fam, worth 31.6 billion for their spot Bitcoin ETFs. Over 500,000 Bitcoin of the 21 million total Bitcoin belongs to just 2 ETFs alone, which is mind-boggling. And I believe the custodian for BlackRock is Coinbase. So Coinbase is holding all of BlackRock's biddy. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Fidelity is one of the few asset managers that are self-custodying their own Bitcoin. Pretty crazy, right? Now, in other news, someone shared here, breaking, Trump has announced his 20 core promises to the American people. And of course, all great promises. However, something Max Kaiser points out, and I'm going to be diving deeper into this later in the show, as our feature story is going to be Bitcoin hitting $1 million post-election. But here's what Max had to say off the back of this tweet. Without a Bitcoin plan, none of this stuff, other stuff from Trump, matters. At this point, I'd say it doesn't matter who wins in November. It is grossly irresponsible not to have a Bitcoin plan. It leaves the United States of America extremely vulnerable. Now let's dive into some of the live charts here on the 1 day. Look at that. Yeah, we did have that massive green candle. It is almost a god candle. I would define it as a demigod candle, considering the fact it was over $5,000 on the daily chart, which you're looking at right now. And let me change the scene so you can see it cleaner. So yeah, right now we're trading just above $59,200. This is the daily chart. We do have a target, you can see in the pink, sitting at 47,700. And let's zoom in a little from here. We usually start, I think, at the 1 hour, and then we'll work our way back out and skip the 1 day, being we started with the 1 day. So here we go. Again, live chart action via TradingView, via Coinbase. This is the 1 hour. A lot of targets on your screen. We do have a bullish 81,500 target, and we do have a bullish green target sitting at roughly 63,007. And then we got some bottom targets with the lowest target sitting all the way down at $37,400, which is pretty crazy. Zooming out a little, we'll check out the 4 hour chart. And you can see we have a target to the north sitting at 81,003, and we have a target to the south sitting all the way down at $37,700. And we already looked at the daily, so let's skip that and go to the 1 week, and then we'll check out the 1 month. The 1 week still uber bullish. We do have that cup and handle formation now sitting at 125.5, as you can see on your screen. And zooming out on the monthly to get a little broader perspective here of the market. And as you can see, hopefully we get a green monthly close for this month of August, as June and July have been pretty bearish overall. I'd love to continue that trend upwards, recapturing price discovery at 73.8. But let me know your thoughts, where you feel the Bitcoin price action action will likely take us next. Now that we got the Bitcoin TA out of the way, here's the latest with the Ripple lawsuit versus the SEC. They just settled and they have to pay $125 million fine. So here's what's popping here. Headline reads, Ripple versus the SEC. Is it a victory or another chapter in the legal battle? Let's discuss it. While Ripple celebrates the conclusion of its 4-year legal battle with the US SEC, some lawyers have raised doubts about whether the recent court developments truly constitute a victory. Ripple, the company behind the XRP crypto and the currency exchange network, celebrated the end of its 4-year legal battle with the SEC on August 7th. And in fact, I believe XRP soared like 25% that day that the news was official, but now it's corrected right back down with the rest of the market. Announcing the news on X, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse argued that Judge Torres gave a 94% reduction from the SEC's initial plan to fine Ripple for $2 billion in damages. And that's right. The SEC initially wanted a $2 billion fine, and they reduced it down to $125 million, which he's accurate. I guess that's a 94% reduction, quoting him here. This is a victory for Ripple, the industry, and the rule of law. The SEC headwinds against the whole of the XRP community are gone, as you can see in his celebratory post here on August 7th on X, which got 2.1 million views. The community quickly reacted to the news, with XRP surging 26% after the Garlinghouse announcement. And while many lawyers have called the latest court decision a major win for Ripple, some hesitate to label it a complete victory. Others have even suggested it might not mark the end of the legal battle. Some believe it will continue. That's right. While the court decision to reduce the SEC's remedies request from $2 billion to $125 million is definitely not a win for the SEC, it is still hard to say that there are any winners in this case. Hey, I know who the biggest winners are. The lawyers. Of course, lawyers are always the biggest winner in any lawsuit, family. That is because of the ongoing lack of clarity regarding how U.S. security laws should apply to the cryptos, the costs of legal defense, plus the fine and the disruption of Ripple's business since the case began in late 2020. And according to a report on the legal news service Law 360, they shared the following: Ripple is a winner, but I think in the grand scheme of things, if you have to be embroiled in litigation for years, have your asset, your token be delisted from exchanges, at least for some period of time, fight with a regulator, pay a large fine, that doesn't feel like a win. He makes a great point there, yo. I mean, they delisted XRP from every major exchange because all the major exchanges like the Coinbases were getting notices from the SEC that they're promoting unregistered security. So it got a massive delisting, and I think now it's probably back everywhere. But anyways, apart from the high cost of the Ripple victory, there are also chances the SEC might challenge certain aspects of the case. Following the latest decision by Judge Torres, the SEC was given 60 days to file an appeal in the Ripple case before the final decision date. Today starts the 60-day countdown to the deadline to file the appeal, wrote XRP supporting lawyer Fred Rispall. And according to Fox Business journalist Elinir Terret, the potential appeal by the SEC will likely be related to the other court rulings instead of the most recent remedies ruling. Now, should the SEC file an appeal, they have until October 6th. It'll likely relate to Torres's July 2023 court decision, which ruled the XRP was not a security, but also when it sold to retail investors, or only when it sold to retail investors, hence the $125 million fine. So at the same time, Torres ruled that XRP was still a security when sold to institutional investors. Concluding her communication with the SEC and Ripple, here's what Terret shared: I feel an appeal of the remedies ruling from either side is unlikely. I think it is more likely that the SEC would appeal the July 2023 ruling now that the final judgment has been reached. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. Now, they have the right to the appeal, and if they do, the focus will be on the programmatic sales for sure, according to their attorney, Jeremy Hugan. And according to Joe Castelluccio, sounds Italiano, a partner at Mayor Brown, the SEC is likely to appeal, given that the agency had already tried and failed October 2023. The lawyer believes the SEC might likely appeal on secondary sales and the penalty. Additionally, the SEC didn't explicitly say that sales on Ripple's cross-border payment service, the ODL, violate the law. Instead, it argued that the sale showed a likelihood that Ripple could be reoffend. And as the court found, the fact that Ripple was shown as a willingness to push the boundaries of the summary judgment order evinces a likelihood that it will eventually, if it has not already, cross the line, the SEC reportedly said in a statement to Law 360. And according to Withers' partner, Christopher La Vine? That leaves room for the future back and forth on the ODL sales. Does it end litigation between the parties? I don't know if it does. So who knows? This could be just a case that just never ends. Welcome to lawsuits, family. Let's discuss now the latest between Celsius and Tether USDT, another major lawsuit which just recently began. Headline reads, Celsius asked stablecoin issuer Tether to hand over $3.3 billion worth of biddies in the new lawsuit. That's right, the funk crypto lending platform Celsius Network. Now, how many of you were impacted by Celsius Network when they went under? Let me know. It's taken legal action to recover billions of dollars worth of the biddy that had previously transferred to USDT issuer Tether. In a new complaint filed by the Southern District in New York, Celsius says it is seeking the return of 39,542.42 BTC, worth $2.31 billion. Can't forget that 0.42 at the end. That were transferred as collateral for the stable coins that it borrowed from Tether. Celsius alleges Tether used the asset as payment for its outstanding loan and for less than the responsibly equivalent value of the crypto asset when it became insolvent. Celsius also wants to recover 15,658.21 BTC, worth $915 million, and an additional 2,228.01 BTC. Can't leave out that 0.01 for 130.33 million that were sent as collateral to Tether during a 90-day period before it filed for bankruptcy. Lawyers for Celsius say these were preferential transfers under the bankruptcy code, quoting them here. These preferential and fraudulent transfers of Bitcoin should be avoided and recovered from Tether, and Tether should be ordered to pay damages for its unlawful application of collateral. In response, Tether says the complaint is a meritless shakedown that will only benefit the lawyers, bankers, and consultants involved in the suit. Now, there's one thing I do know. I trust Tether USDT as a company and the folk behind it. I do not trust Celsius or the mofo behind it. You know what I mean? You know who I'm talking about. Now, anyways, quoting Tether here, the complaint is undermined by the actual facts underlying the agreement between Celsius and Tether, relies on an obvious misapplication of the law, ignores the numerous defenses that Tether has to the claims asserted against it, and raises substantial jurisdictional questions. The stablecoin issuer says it plans to respond in court. So it's going to court, and like I said, I don't trust Celsius one iota, so hopefully, I mean, Tether does its thing. I think they have good intentions, and I think Celsius has had bad intentions from the beginning, just based upon what they did in duping so many investors and so many people getting screwed as a result. But let me know your thoughts, man. It's kind of like if FTX were to sue Tether USDT. It's like, who's going to be rooting for FTX? They're the biggest fraudster, scamster, flim-flam artists. You know what I mean? But yeah, next story of the day, fam. Let's discuss this $250 million buy. According to the article here from Marathon Digital, one of the largest miners, or I actually think the largest. The world's largest Bitcoin miner announces a $250 million raise to buy more Bitcoin. That's right. Marathon Digital Holdings announced that $250 million, offering a convertible senior notes. Sounds like Mikey Saylor put anytime I hear convertible notes, because that's exactly how Mikey Saylor pulls off multi-billion-dollar buys of the biddy for MicroStrategy. These notes are due in 2031 in a private offering towards a qualified institutional buyers. Marathon's the world's largest Bitcoin mining firm, also considering selling an additional $37.5 million in notes to initial purchasers backed on market conditions. Marathon aims to use the $250 million to acquire more Bitcoin. According to the August 12th announcement, quoting them here, Marathon intends to use the net proceeds from the sale of the notes to acquire additional biddies and for general corporate purposes, which may include working capital, strategic acquisitions, expansion of existing assets, and repayment of debt and other outstanding obligations. The buying pattern of the large Bitcoin hodlers, such as Bitcoin miners, have had significant impact on the Bitcoin price due to the large amount of capital involved. Investors often use the buying patterns of large institutions to gauge the demand for the biddy. Now, Marathon has increased its Bitcoin holdings by 124 million during July, reaching a total of 20,818 BTC, worth over $1.14 billion as of August 6th. Marathon plans to go full hodl, which is crypto slang for hodl. Hold on for dear life. Full hodl, says their CEO, Fred Thiel, chairman of Marathon Digital, in a post. Today, Marathon is proud to announce that to strengthen our strategy of holding Bitcoin as our strategic treasury reserve asset, we have, over the past month, purchased 100 million in BTC and will now go full hodl. So I'm going to assume full hodl is just another term for all in for my Texas no-limit poker players out there. We all in. Send it. Marathon acquired 100 million worth of Bitcoin in July as it aims to make Bitcoin a strategic treasury reserve asset. As reported, Marathon's Bitcoin strategy is a positive development considering that the world's largest Bitcoin miner isn't capitulating, despite a 50% cut in the block rewards due to the 2024 Bitcoin halving, which occurred back on April 19th of this year, which can still force other miners to sell their biddies. Despite the bullish announcement and continuous buying from Marathon, the Bitcoin price remains subdued under the 60,000 psychological mark, which is bonkers. If you're to ask me, Bitcoin should be way higher than we currently are, which leads me to believe some manipulation always going on in the market. Anyways, fam, next story of the day. Keep the comments flowing. We got over 1,300 people live and on the stream. I'm going to be streaming at least for the next hour. We got two of our feature stories to tap into here. Cali City adopting Bitcoin? California? Yes, that's right. And we'll also be discussing Bitcoin hitting $1 million post-election, regardless if Trump or someone else wins. And we'll also be discussing, of course, the live Q&A after we finish with the content. Welcome, everyone just joining us. This headline reads, California City launches new Bitcoin office dedicated to transformative potential of Bitcoin. Let's go. Santa Monica, California, shout out my Cali fam, is launching the new office dedicated to educating the community about Bitcoin. In a new announcement, the government of the city of Santa Monica, a part of Los Angeles County, says it's opening the Bitcoin office to help residents and businesses understand its potential and role in the modern economy. Quoting them here, in partnership with the Proof of Workforce Foundation, interesting name, Proof of Workforce Foundation, we are committed to providing comprehensive education about Bitcoin and its role in the modern economy, helping Santa Monica residents and businesses alike understand the innovative technology. In addition to providing education, the Bitcoin office's mission is also focused on identifying and facilitating Bitcoin industry partnerships that actively support Santa Monica's economic recovery and cultivate new employment opportunities. By fostering strategic collabos, we aim to create a resilient and forward-looking local economy that benefits all members of our community. The Proof of Workforce Foundation is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping unions, organizations, and workers adopt the top crypto asset by market cap. And according to German data gathering platform Statista, as of 2022, the city of Los Angeles had nearly 2,000 Bitcoin ATMs. Wow, I would have never expected 2,000 Bitcoin ATMs in LA. Whoa, by far most in the United States. So is LA going to become like the hub for Bitcoin in the US? What's going on there? Pretty cool. Shout out Santa Monica, LA. You know what's up. But anyways, family, this story kind of took me by surprise. I didn't think California City would be doing something like that, opening up a Bitcoin office. So, hey, maybe there's hope for California. After all, family, I know many of you live in Cali. I've lived in Cali. I spent several years there. So much respect. And of course, shout out Kendrick, repping LA as well. Now let's dive into our feature story of the day. This Forbes article just published says maybe 1 million per Bitcoin. Bitcoin is price is poised for a historic post-election rally. Let's cover this. You can see here in the headline. Obviously, Forbes has become very bullish when it comes to Trump and Bitcoin. In fact, 2 weeks after I broke the news that Trump was going to be making a big announcement at the Nashville event, because I got the word from Max Kaiser. He was the very first person to leak that information. I was the first podcaster to share it. Then 2 weeks later, Forbes and all the mainstream started reporting the same. Trump might give a big announcement adopting Bitcoin, treasury reserve asset, yada, yada, yada. And now they're making very bullish predictions on Bitcoin potentially hitting 1 million with or without Trump becoming president. So let's discuss this one, shall we? According to Michael Turpin, founder of crypto venture capital firm Transform Ventures, last week's crypto rout was a result of the typical Bitcoin pullback after a halving at the end of the yen carry trade. That was the news coming out of Japan and why the entire financial markets around the world started to collapse. He thinks both risks have blown over by now, quoting Michael Turpin here. Now that the Bank of Japan had indicated they will not raise interest rates further and jump trading will run out of coins to sell, just like Germany did a few weeks ago, I do not see the price going much below $50,000, perhaps ever again. Let me know if you agree with that bullish sentiment. We'll never drop back below 50 G's ever again. Now, obviously, 3 days ago, we tapped 49, but then we surged right back to 62. And looking ahead, Turpin predicts that major Bitcoin rally after the election, especially if Trump takes back the Oval Office. Quoting him again, October and November, Q4 family, are historically strong months for Bitcoin, especially in the 3-year of the halving and the year after, he said, adding that Trump's presidency could summon a rush of new buyers and bring Bitcoin's price over 100,000 per coin. I agree 100% there. Meanwhile, BitMEX co-founder Arthur Hayes expects crypto to rise no matter who wins the election. In fact, he believes Bitcoin could hit hundreds of thousands of dollars and even maybe $1 million per coin. 1 million per coin? Let me know if that sounds sexy to you, fam. Hayes is banking on the idea that both parties will print more money to increase deficit spending, driving the rise of alternative assets. Now, I agree with Arthur Hayes just blazed 100%. And I'm going to read this part again. He believes that he's banking on the idea that both parties, regardless if it's Democrat or Republican, they're going to print more money, meaning that money printer from the Federal Reserve will continue to go. So it's irrelevant. As long as money is being printed, your purchasing power of the Bitcoin is mathematically guaranteed to increase against the dollar. And your purchasing power in the dollar is mathematically guaranteed to decrease against Bitcoin. That's a given regardless of who is in office. I agree 100%. Trump has long been viewed as a pro-crypto candidate for president and has shown in the market that he reacts to the election developments. For example, after the failed attempt on Trump's life, which boosted his chances of taking over the Oval Office in November, the Bitcoin price soared 10% in 3 days. And may I remind you, I think it was 10 days prior to the assassination attempt, obviously, thank God it was a failed attempt, that he started embracing Bitcoin, saying he would not allow a CBDC in America as long as he's president, and said a lot of bullish things regarding adoption of Bitcoin in the United States, and that he would make America the Bitcoin mining hub of the world. So is that a coincidence? 10 days later, they try to take him out? What are your thoughts, fam? The reason is that Trump is viewed as less of a bad cop for the crypto community than the Biden administration. No, let's keep it 100. Biden administration is the bad cop on the beat. That is the flim-flam artist. Those are the hucksters, the fraudsters. You know what I mean? That's the Janet Yellens. That's the Gary Genslers. That's the Joe Biden and all those type of folk. You know what I mean? So in preparation for this year's election, Trump became the first presidential candidate to accept crypto contributions a few weeks ago. He also stopped short of pledging to build a federal Bitcoin reserve. Now, quoting him here, for too long, our government has violated the cardinal rule that every Bitcoiner knows by heart. Never sell your Bitcoin. I like that. Never sell your biddies, family. Crypto lobbyists have actively supported Trump as a counter to Biden's tougher regulatory stance. We have Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, co-founders of the Gemini Crypto Exchange, jointly contributed $1.6 million in Bitcoin. Meanwhile, Jesse Powell, co-founder of Kraken, donated $845,000 to the Trump campaign in Ether. On the other hand, Hayes's 1 million Bitcoin prediction relies not so much on regulatory outcome of an election as it does on the crypto's core promise as an inflation hedge. So it just goes to show you, regardless what happens in the Oval Office of the states, Bitcoin's going to continue to do its thing, even if enemies were to get reelected. And when I say enemies is a biddy, clearly, because in my personal opinion, the biggest enemy of the Federal Reserve, the one that turns on that money printer, is Bitcoin. I mean, do you understand? Bitcoin is their Achilles heel. And who controls the U.S. government? Well, who prints the freaking money? Do the math. He believes that neither political party is committed to balancing the national budget. In his view, Washington will continue running up the tab and, if necessary, print more money to bail out the economy. Quoting Hayes again, like any politician, regardless of party affiliation or economic beliefs, Harris will instruct Yellen to use the monetary tools available to her to avert a financial crisis. And of course, that means the money printer will go in some way, shape, or form. Let me know your thoughts surrounding that, family. Arthur Hayes, 1 million price prediction. And do you feel 1 million biddy is inevitable regardless of who is in office? But do you think that Trump getting elected, considering he has a pro-Bitcoin stance, versus enemies of Bitcoin with the Biden administration, Harris, and yada, 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 do you think we're more likely to hit six figures even quicker? That's my thought for you guys. Let me know. Trump is the only way, says Steve. 1 milli, says Knox.